So creating datasets is fairly easy and straightforward. First, locate the data module or the package that we want. Here we have the call center data module. Select the three dots and create a brand new dataset. And straight away we see something like this. The functionality of datasets is built upon the foundation of Cognos reporting. Adding data to dataset follows a similar process to adding data to a list report. For example, you have the flexibility to switch between page design and page preview to customize your view. Additionally, the query view offers an alternative approach to modifying the datasets. Within this view, as we said, you can copy and paste queries from existing reports. You can manage advanced filters and prompts and easily rename queries as needed. Very similar to the report authoring UI. And then just to start adding items into the dataset, just drag to the data pane the items that we want into our dataset. My advice is to start from the result. So what do you want to use in your dashboard or the report? Once you know that, you will understand what items you need to bring into the dataset. So for example, first of all, I want to focus into some KPIs. For example, I want to know the call count, the call hour, the talk time, the handle time, and the queue time. Then I want to see my calls by type, so I want to add the call type description, and by the resolution type, so I want to add the call resolution description. Then, similarly like a report, I can rearrange my columns into my dataset, where first I have the type, the resolution, and then my KPIs. Then I can change the view to page preview to be able to preview my results. Now, if using a relational package or data module make sure that the summarize detailed values option is checked. If you are unsure whether this option should be enabled or disabled, once you add some data, try turning this off to see how the new data appear, and then turn it on again to see how the data is aggregated. Of course, condensing data with fewer rows often results in improved performance of reports and dashboards. However, one reason for avoiding data aggregation in your dataset is the potential loss of detail during the process, and discrepancies may arise when comparing data from different systems. This discrepancy is particularly evident in calculations such as calculating averages. Furthermore, you can add filters or sorting by using the toolbar directly on top of the data. As we will do in a report, we can validate our dataset from the top right corner. And finally, with the use of the reset, we can replace all the data items into the dataset. With the undo, I will bring it back. I am happy with what I have so far, so I will go ahead and save my dataset. I'll just use similar name with my data module, just add the dataset extension and save it. Now, let's say that I have a very complex report with many queries that uses a large data module and which I run daily. What I want to do is I want to create a dataset for this report so that first of all, I do not have to query the whole database every time I run my report, which obviously affects the performance. And secondly, I would like the business users to use this set of data to create interactive dashboards, explorations, or stories and start exploring the data in more depth. As a result here, we have the same dashboard that we have in a report. Obviously, I won't claim, of course, that this is a pixel perfect report, but it will serve its purpose to help us demonstrate the next functionality. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the report specification of this report to create a new data set. So as you can see in this report, we have 4 different queries to retrieve the data we are interested in. We have the KPIs query, the call resolution query, the call type, and the call hour. What I want to do is I want to copy the report specification. So from the top right corner, I copy the report to the clipboard. Then I locate the data module that this report is aligned to, so it's a call center data module, and then I create a new data set. Once my report set editor loads up, similarly with report authoring, I will go to the top right with the three dots, and then I will select Open Report from Clipboard. Here I get the warning that I haven't saved my report. That's fine because I've just created it, so ignore it for now. And here I get the pop-up window where I will paste my report specification. Before hitting OK, notice on the top left I just have my data tree, no any data items to be added into my data set, so no queries yet. However, once I hit OK, you will see that straight away I have all 4 queries imported into my data set, and then I can just simply start adding columns into my data set. As you will see, all the queries have been created again, and I can reuse them to build a group of data for my choice. Now, you always need to remember that datasets are like an extraction from your data source, which means that you will need to either manually refresh or schedule the refresh so that you have the latest data. For the manual refresh, all you need to do is either select the reload button in the dashboard or the report, or select the refresh button that is located in the properties of the dataset. For setting up a schedule to refresh datasets, all we need to do is go back into the three dots under the properties and then navigate to the schedule and create a schedule. Then we can set the schedule for the data refresh. If, for example, your data source refreshes every night, then scheduling this refresh every morning is sufficient. If you need more real-time data, you can schedule it down to the hours or minutes. However, more refreshes will consume resources on your server, so please make sure you set your schedule accordingly. Then once we are ready, we save the schedule and we need to make sure that it's enabled. We can enable and disable it at any time. And now we are ready to start using the dataset and save time. One thing that I want to remind you is that, as we said, we can use the dataset to create dashboards but not reports. To create reports, first create a data module from the dataset and then use that data module as your source for your reports. Now, we are ready to start using the dataset. But without staying in theory, I'm going to show you how the performance is improved when we are using data sets. For this, I have the same report that we've seen so far. I'll just show you really quickly. If I go into the properties, you will see that I have the server data cache disabled, the same with the browser side caching disabled. So no caching at all, and we will see purely the improvement just by using data sets. What I want to see, first of all, I want to enable some performance information for this dashboard. Here I will rerun all the widgets and then I will get the performance timings. Here you will see I get 2 timings, the total and the server query. The total is the total time in milliseconds to run queries and render the visualization. And the server query, again in milliseconds, represents the query for the different visualizations. Here you will see in the tree map we have like 2000 milliseconds. The bar chart is 400 milliseconds. So we can see we're in the hundreds milliseconds to run our queries. But what I'm going to do, I will relink my data module to the dataset we have just created. This is the dataset we've just created. I relink my dashboard and I will capture the times again. So I've just relinked it, get the performance information, rerun and show the values. And straight away, you can see that from the hundreds and the thousands, we are down to 48, 56 milliseconds, 54, and so on. Massive improvement into of the performance. If you want to analyze in more detail the performance of your dashboards or the reports. You can set up the Interactive Performance Assistant, the IPA, which gives you access to performance reports and dashboards with timings that processes like Java or dataset services need to be executed. You can view this in a list report. Here we can see different action names and the time it took to be executed, or we can see in a dashboard using the custom Gantt chart. As you will see in a second here, we'll see the different processes as well as the times it took to be executed. And this is how we can use datasets to improve the performance and then capture the timings for each process to be executed.